Not just planting the flag, but passing the torch. Many people are upset right now in these days because the flag is definitely, flag of our country, the flag of Christianity has definitely been dropped. And it seems our country has fallen off the edge in so many ways. People seem confused. But we have to remember, there's always a social line, a political line, a moral line, a religious line, and then there's always a stream of believers willing to pay the price to keep going forward. So things may be lost. We may very well be seeing the end of America as we've known it. We may be seeing the end of some Christianity as we've known it. But Jesus Christ is going to keep going forward, because a torch is always being passed from one generation to another. The Psalm says, I will tell the next generation of your works. When I was a young man, I had the privilege of listening to some of these aged preachers before they went on, the Lester Summeralls, Dale Osborne, ones like that. They inspired me with their stories of when they were young and went to the mission field. It was one of the reasons why when I was younger and traveled into Europe and even communist Poland and Czechoslovakia, I always bought one-way tickets and just went. Told my wife I would see her again when God brought me back, and believed God to bring me home. Because I'd seen the way these men's faith had been. And I'd seen the faith that the apostles had had. And it had been passed down to those who were going to walk in that, to carry it forward. The reason I'm bringing up, because as we go forward, as we come out of this COVID thing, my prayer has been that the church would stop, that the church would think, the church would reevaluate. And I believe there's some believers that are doing that. But I believe that there's those that are going to carry on with our mega churches and our programs and our dove awards and all this. Can you imagine calling a church a mega? On the radio the other day, they were advertising the Christian music, and they described the star as a young Christian mega superstar. Who would ever watch a movie like that? I won't even let somebody call me reverend. It's foolishness. And all this foolishness needs to stop. But I fear in some ways it won't stop, and we'll just continue on. Keep your eye on the Catholic Church, and you'll see that the Christian church will begin to mimic more and more of that. But don't lose heart, saints. There's always those who are going to reach back and grab the torch from one generation to another. Reach back to the New Testament. Take that fire and take it to the next generation. Look around in the assembly you're in. There should be some older couples who've walked in their marriage for years, still men walking as men and women walking as real women. Fathers leading their families. These are the ones we should be going to for counsel, not professional counselism that's invaded the church and humanism and psychology. You should be looking for these elders. These are not bored businessmen that have enough money that they're putting into a church so that they're considered elders, but saints of the cross, saints of suffering, saints who've endured, that I can go to them and I can get some true advice. Ones that can pass on things. When I was a young man, I cried out for older men. I wanted older men that could help me to walk in what God wanted me to walk in. Too many times I would meet pastors who could tell me how to raise money and take offerings. This is not what I wanted. But I took comfort in some of the books I read and some of the men that we could be mentored under. Things that we're being warned about, that we're walking in now. The church shouldn't be confused now. David Wilkerson in 1975 wrote his book Divisions about homosexuals parading in the streets. And then later on, even in the 80s and 90s, warning about the things that we're seeing right now. We need to have our ears to the ground on Calvary to be listening so the torch could be passed. So with all the confusion out there, with the difficulties out there, with the disappointment in, once again, the political realm, the social realm, the moral realm, even the religious or Christian realm. If you have a heart that says, even though the flag may be dropped, I'm going to keep going up that hill and I want to see the torch passed. If you have that kind of heart to get back to Jerusalem, to seek real fellowship, real preaching, real consecration, if you have a heart for the torch of the testimony, whether you're going to carry it for others or you're going to reach back and take a hold of it or you're going to hang on to it for your generation. If you have that heart, then God bless you. The road will be marked by difficulties. It's not an easy climb, but it's worth it. It's time to get back to Jerusalem, to Jesus. Remember, it's location, location, location. The ground of Jesus. Looking for the ground of the New Jerusalem. There's more like this expanded at thewellhou.com. God bless.